Hey everyone, welcome to the season 7, the introduction to season 7 of IRC Formula One Racing. It's been a torrid time off. I think I've missed racing, I've missed watching some fantastic racing, and with me for the coverage of the Tier 1 race, we have Thermo and Deepak Raj, who are incredibly quick drivers in their own right, and honestly, I think they will add a lot of insight into today's race. So Thermo, Deepak, hey, how's it going?
Been
Hey
quite good.
Adil, yeah,
So
excited to be here.
it's really exciting for the first day of the race of a season because we have zero benchmarks of pace, of quality, of racecraft, of anything of these drivers, and these drivers are essentially all unknown quantities to us. I love the smell of fresh rubber in the morning, don't you?
Well, yes, it is a new unknown, and yesterday we did see a very, very tight quali grid with almost the entire grid closed by almost a second. So, yes, it will be really nice to see what goes on. And on that note, we'll have a look at the track video for this magnificent Monza.
Magnificent.
Right then, Monza, the temple of speed. The lap begins coming off the final turn, hurtling down towards turn 1. 330 kilometers an hour into the braking zone at the Variante Rettifilio, braking just before the 100-meter board, generously cutting the inside curve while remaining vigilant for the sausage curves on the inside of turn 2. Important to not lose too much traction on the exits of the chicanes around Monza, as it's all about carrying as much speed as possible, so expect a lot of short shifting. Coming now to the Seconda Variante della Roggia, 100-meter board again on the right-hand side. Cut the inside, but again be wary of the ever-present sausage curves, which can derail your lap. We proceed to the two Lesmos, which is all about commitment and trusting the downforce of the car as you chuck in with minimal braking to carry as much momentum onto the back straight as possible. DRS open again as we hurtle towards the most challenging part of the track, the final Variante, as Scari. Important to carry lots of speed on entry and keep throttle pinned 100 meters on the right hand side. Turn in and brace for that exit curve, hoping it doesn't unsettle the car and end your lap or your race prematurely. Only one corner left now, the unassuming Parabolica, a visceral, fast right-hander that venomously tightens, meaning drivers will have to be on their toes as they come across the line for yet another high-paced, thrilling lap around the Monza circuit.
So that was quite an awesome hot lap by Ripe over there. And coming back to the question I was asking before we jumped into magnificent Monza, to use Deepak's words, Thermo, what are you most excited to see today? Monza has a lot of interesting stories that we tend to develop. So what are you most excited to see?
Well, this track is definitely a good way to see the raw pace of every driver out here. And as you can see, it is torrential right now in quali. Not sure what the weather is for the race, but regardless, I'll be looking forward to turn 1 for sure. As Deepak mentioned, for tier 2, we had a very close grid. And this season versus last season, we've had a lot of people moving up from tier 2 and a lot of um, fast drivers missing in the grid, including yours truly. Um, So it will be interesting to see how they all stack up against each other. But I'm looking forward to a very close race. In terms of overtakes, the back straight, funnily enough, doesn't seem to be that uh, long enough for a good overtaking opportunity. But I think the second sector DRS straight is where you would see a lot of action. And depending on the weather, as we will soon find out, it will be interesting to see how everyone strategizes their race. And
Yep.
I think there will be plenty of opportunities as there are very few turns for everyone to just take an inch wherever they can get.
As we say that 8 cylinders has been disqualified from the session. I'm not sure what's going on there, but he has been disqualified. I'm sure we'll get an explanation soon. But as I think one data point for the stream, Tier 2 qualifying yesterday wasn't just close, it was almost tortuously so. There was a gap between P1 and P2 of 1,000ths of a second, which honestly, if we see anything close to that today, I'm going to consider it a happy weekend. So, and it turns out Codemasters has taken out a page from Sochi's book, a nice transition. We have no idea what the weather is for the race yet, but this is if it continues, it's going to be exciting. But let's move into the action. We are on board with Montero and the Williams going through Sector 2, going through Lesmo. I'm not sure if he's on a flying lap. I think he is. Yeah, he is. But he does seem to be recovering a bit of energy. Possibly an invalidation somewhere. But a few dark horses. I think, as Thermo mentioned, there are a couple of known quantities missing, but I think that always has more and more drivers stepping up to the plate. What are your predictions for the race today, folks?
Well, to me, it could be anyone's games. While I'd love to see Chicken and RB Farello, especially to deliver, but at least in qualifying. But yeah, I think if it stays wet during the race, it could be anyone's game.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Deepak?
Yeah, it is. It is, like I said, it's a very mixed grid. We've got some tier 2 folks along with the previous tier 1. So I'm still in the blind on this one. I'm just gonna wait and see how all the things unfold.
As we say that, we see the glowing hot brakes of Montero screaming, but because he wasn't able to slow down enough and takes the sausage curbs at turn 1. But let's go on board with Moto, who honestly Moto's been one driver regardless of the track. He's been quite good in the rain historically, and I have to say the AlphaTauri is a beautiful looking car. So let's see how he does around the circuit. I don't think he's on a flying lap, but let's just wait. He could very well be, because this doesn't seem too far off what Oxia. I think he is on a flying lap. So as we approach Parabolica, I'm not going to call it anything else. It's always going to be at Parabolica for me. He comes around Parabolica, the car screaming on exit. This is there's a lot of lateral load on the rear tires through Parabolica, and Moto comes across the line, but it's only good enough for 10th fastest. I know he can do better. I have to say though, Thermo, I think the Ferraris are looking very, very strong here. I think I was chatting with Black Sheep yesterday, and in fact he and I were having a drink, and honestly, I think I took a look at some of his lap times. He is looking very, very competitive. If I'm not wrong, he's in the top 100 in the world on some tracks on the calendar this year in time trial.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, because at IRC we've had drivers who have even touched top 50 at some point. Who am I be thinking about? So yeah, definitely it's still early days. I still think people will be pushing that envelope even further as the time progresses. I see that Cuba Rabi and KG either are not in the session or something has gone wrong, but hopefully it's not a technical issue what we've had yesterday.
KG just retired. Not sure about Cuba Rabi, probably missed that, but Mercedes, I can picture Toto Wolff banging his fist on the table after that. Let's hope that he has a good recovery like Bottas showed us today. But we see the Alpine of Chicken getting well out of the way on the pit lane entry. Which is kind of funny because you could have gotten out of the way on the inside.
I think he might have spun around and I think he might have lost his car in Parabolica, I guess. But
I think he was intending to go for a hot lap and lost control. I don't think he was going to pit.
yeah, and speaking of all these things, like I have got a question for you, Mara, as a seasoned veteran. How do you handle these wet qualies?
Thank you for not making me sound 100 over there.
How do you handle these wet qualies? Because some drivers, they take the approach of like fueling up for multiple runs and go at it, or just fuel for one single run and go for it. What would you prefer?
So yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, it's obviously every driver has a different strategy, and I'm sure different strategy. Like everything in the world, there may be different solutions to the same problem. But I normally make an effort very early on in the session to set a proper banker, because so I fuel for about 3 or 4 laps, put on a proper banker. Otherwise, that honestly gives a driver so much more confidence with sort of just pushing the boundaries of pushing the boundaries of grip that the car has. Otherwise, you're constantly on edge thinking about, will I start at the back or will I start in front? You never know where you are, because with the wet quali, especially with how unforgiving these games are with track limits, you don't want. And as we see a spun Alpha Tauri of Faizan in the middle of Parabolic, and the man needs to get out of the way now, otherwise there could be some disastrous circumstances. Great reactions there by the McLaren. But
that was a very perilous place to lose your car.
Perilous indeed. The wet for the tires aren't working for Faizan. So yeah, I mean, I would normally fuel for about 4 runs, get a banker lap in, so then I can start doing 2 lap runs and just sort of set faster times.
And Ninja just now started his hot lap, but I think he messed up his lap and invalidated, I guess. Oh, Oxygen sets a much faster lap.
I was just going to say the gap between the top 3 is less than a tenth, and Oxygen just pushes the bar a bit higher, as we see the Red Bull typically go on its brakes on Oxygen, showing us that he is really working that Red Bull to its max capacity. Max capacity indeed. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I think that's a McLaren, if I'm not wrong.
That seems to be an Alpine that has stopped.
I see a lot of traffic in the pit lane. Could be
Whose car is stuck over there? It's definitely an Alpine by the looks of it. It's Streeter.
It was Chicken,
I think. It was a Williams.
Chicken stop. No, it was Chicken and the Alpine slowing down to let somebody pass through the second DRS straight.
I actually saw a car stranded near the pit entry. So.
Okay. Might be. Well, we've got a lot of retirements so far. I mean, already 4 drivers, 1 disqualification, 3 DNFs, and a lot of drivers in the pits. So let's take a small breather, because we have quite a large gap, and obviously the rain does do that to the timing in terms of just spreading the grid out based on skill gaps, and the skill gap obviously becomes much wider in the rain. It looks like Red Bull are doing well, but who do you think? What is your prediction for quali based on the initial few runs? Who do you think is looking confident?
Definitely, Oxygen looks much confident about that. He seems to be getting better and better with each lap. So yes, I would pin my money on Oxygen. But yes, we can't actually count out a few other people like Moto. Like you said, he has been really good in wet track performances. So yes, we really can't count them out. It's never done until it's done.
Yeah, and we still have Chicken, Ninja, and Kapil without a timed lap. So we still have to see what they have to deliver. But yeah, both Red Bulls, they are looking very fast today, and Kaushik is known to be very fast in quali at least. He's missed a Saturday of that in at least in the past seasons. So yeah, it's looking like their first row to lose now.
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, both of you raced in Tier 2 last season, where a lot of your fellow gladiators and a lot of the people that you raced against last season are now racing in Tier 1, and I think it's a testament to how good Tier 2 was last year. So who do you think are... I know RB obviously was the champion, the Tier 2 champion, but apart from him, who else do you feel has the spark and the potential to probably fight for points or maybe go for best of the rest here from the tier 2 grid.
I would say other than RB Ferralo, another guy would be watch out for is the man we are seeing on stream right now, Harry Rocks. I mean, we've seen so many times in the past when he has put himself in a respectable position, but just manages to not get that, not piece it together and just lose it somewhere. But if he could just keep it together, I'm pretty sure he could be in for a strong Hall of Fame.
Well, McLaren need a good performance today, especially after the heartbreak in Sochi. So I'm really hoping Harry can put on a good performance, because he's a driver, I think, who's always wanted to do well, but he's never sort of found the limits of the car, like, and had the confidence to push the limits of the car. And if he can get used to the grip in the wets, I think we may see a very, very strong Harry in the race. While I'm saying that, is there any information for either of you on the conditions for the race?
I'm trying to get the telemetry up, but it seems to be not working. Let me just check that once again.
Totally fine. Human beings love a bit of mystery, so let's just let that happen. We know as much as you guys on the stream who are following us in the stream know, so that's awesome. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the Ferraris can put up. It's always lovely to see a Ferrari do well at Monza, and as I say that, I think they're giving each other a bit of slipstream. Yeah, Evil Dogs had a bit of an out at, I believe it's
that's
Della
weird.
Roggia.
This car's stuck or what?
He's unable to get into drive. Yeah, there we go. He's got into drive
This
now.
is very sad and funny to see as
Do
well.
you
Not
think the
gonna lie.
curbs are like forcing
he
him to not
retired.
move?
He retired. That's a very odd way to retire, I would say, but well, it is what it is.
You just hit pause, Evil Dog. There's a report code over there on the bottom left of your screen. You should probably use that at this point.
Oh.
It's interesting to see that in the last about 4 minutes, we haven't seen a driver really improve all that much, except for obviously Kapil, who's finally set a banker lap or set a valid lap, and that's put him not in the greatest position, so he's definitely going to want to improve on that. But as we say that, can we go on board with Black Sheep? He's on a flying lap right now. 3/10, I think. He's had a brilliant turn 1 and 2. He's 3/10 up at the end of sector 1. Can he navigate Della Roggia properly? Yes, he does. Let's go on board through his entire lap, and he just needs to keep it clean from here on out, but pins the inside of the Lesmo beautifully, missing the inside curb. Let's see and clip the inside of the second Lesmo. He does, uses the full extent of the curb. DRS will not open because there are rainy conditions, but that's going to hamper everyone on the grid, so there's no advantage. There's no advantage gained or lost. He is 7.5 tenths up. I'm not sure whether that's on his time or on Oxygen's, but we're just going to have to wait to find out. Beautiful line through Ascari, keeps it on track. That is definitely going to be a valid lap through. He has one more corner to navigate. Can he actually displace that Red Bull, that really powerful Red Bull, sitting pretty on top? Let's see. About 300 meters more to go, and navigates past this Pirelli tire over there, and so that was on his Delta, but he's now P3 behind the two Red Bulls. So yeah, some work left to do. I think he can do a cool down lap, recharge his batteries, and go again. Or he can even do 2 more push laps. I don't know how much he's fueled for.
He can do another push lap. He has enough ERS to do it. So
yes, he can do 2 more push laps. So I'm hoping that we see some more. But yeah, that's some great racing.
Stranded. I think it was a couple. No, not him. Well, we do see almost all the cars are out on track. They're trying to improve their very best.
I happened to see in the last corner there was a straight tire on the side, like I think Mara had mentioned. Is that from someone crashing out, or is just a part of the track now? It's like a prop.
No, that definitely is tire debris. I don't think the game's cleared it out. But Harry taking innovative lines, which we love seeing all the time, so that's great. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if, and I hope none of the drivers actually get that damage on a flying lap. But I want to see if anyone can make contact with that tire or whether that tire will be ghosted.
Ooh, Black Sheep seems to have bent it at the exit of Ascari.
We aren't seeing any damage telemetry on our screen. So can we get a proper look? Let's see if the camera pans around to his front wing. I would love to see if... Oh yeah, he definitely has
Definitely
damage.
got
That
a damage. His car is
And
understeering heavily.
That's the end of his quali session. Yeah, there's
wings.
literally no front. There's no front wing on that Ferrari. Luckily, Ferrari have a huge R&D budget, so that shouldn't affect them too much. And considering we're in Park Fermi, you can just put on his race trim front wing on directly, instead of having to go out one more time. But Black Sheep has entered the pits. Let's look at the final. Let's look at the other drivers. Can we go on board with Couple? He typically goes well in the rain, and he is on a flying lap.
On the surface, it looks like he's giving a massive tow to the Alpine behind.
I think
Yeah,
that
Couple
might
has
be
got
cheating.
Couple has got his setup all wrong. He is so much understeer. It's a shame. But let's see what the lap time is coming down to the end, because you never know. He may have set his car up heavily. And what is happening? They both are fighting.
Calm down,
through all
boys.
the
It's not the race yet.
Okay.
That's probably going to be a grid penalty for one of them. All the games let them both off easy.
Oh, all that for going into the pits. Okay. Right, Couple finishes his lap, and like you said, I think the setup is not right or something. That doesn't improve.
Can we go on board with Kaushik real quick? He's
Yes.
coming around the final. Coming down sector. He's actually on par to go pole right now. Kaushik to Mala. And as I say that, Oxygen sets in a blinder of a lap. That's great job. That's a great quali by Oxygen. He has, I think your prediction, Deepak, was spot on. He has seemed so confident. And I'm not sure Deepak has the timing, but 130.0. The Red Bulls are definitely the team to beat here. But let's go through the grid right now. We are seeing more and more checkered flags popping out. RB and Harry need to finish their lap. So does Akash, but Akash is not improving. He's down by 8 tenths.
Harry has invalidated his lap, so that's not gonna happen.
So that's pretty much quali over, if depending on Moto. I'm not sure where he is right now. Yeah, that's RB's not setting a valid lap either. I mean, he's not going to make it. Moto's coming across
He is
the line
coming
now.
across the line now, and he goes P4.
That was a great catapult in position for in 3 Honda powered engines in the top 4. It's quite commendable. So let's run through our grid while the drivers are sort of closing down and sort of cooling down the engines, going into P0 if you will. Oxygen, brilliant, unfaltered and dominant throughout the entire qualifying. Takes P1 in at the Temple of Speed. Following up is his teammate Kaushik Tamala, followed by Akash in the Alpha Tauri. Oh, sorry, Alpha Romeo. Then we have Moto coming up in P4 in the Alpha Tauri, followed by Wilster, Black Sheep, and I have been blocked. So let's just wait.
Ninja was next, and that was a good happy. Like, it was nice to see his name up there as well. I think Black Sheep could have extracted some more time in the third sector had he not had that mishap.
Absolutely, completely agree.
But definitely something he can salvage in the race.
Yeah. And seeing people like Ninja, they're incredibly experienced drivers and they take advantage of wet weather conditions and variable conditions, as does the likes of Alonso. And talking about Alonso, we then have the number 1 fanboy Streeter coming up in P8, followed by the second Akash with 2 A's, 5zan finishing up the top 10, Sid, RB, Chicken, Harry Rocks taking up to P14, and
Sorry guys, the
Deepak.
scroll is not working.
That's fine. I think the top we got through to the top 14, which is good enough.
We had mostly retirements towards the end, so it should be okay.
I think there was Couple, Chicken, and a few other drivers below that, but we shall see. It looks bright and sunny here in Monza for the race, and we are going to have some exhilarating racing, because I think the rain has mixed the grid up quite a bit. So we will see DRS trains, we will see overtakes, and we will see hopefully not too many incidents, but turn 1 in Monza is always incredibly narrow. So
And
let's see how
of
drivers...
course, fingers crossed that the lobby doesn't glitch out. We had a very bad experience yesterday. I just hope we have We get it right in the first try. That's what we want to see. let's hope Codemasters don't mess up today. That's what I'm
Fingers
just
crossed.
expecting. Yes, fingers crossed.
So I've just received information from one of our drivers, or one of the team members, that it's a completely dry, or the exact word that was used was clear-ish race. So whatever that means, and I hope that it stays clear, because honestly, Monza in the dry is exciting to say the least. What do you think, Thermo?
Yeah, I would like it to be completely dry so that we can see very fast and intense racing. But definitely, if Tier 3 curse from last season carries over to this tier this season, you never know.
Well, these are the best drivers in IRC. Well, some of them, a majority of them. And but at the same time, what you say is 100% valid. It could be tier 3, it could be like tier 2, it could be like the greatest tier 1 ever, because we don't know anything. We have 20 seconds to the first race of the season where we know nothing about the drivers, and honestly, that just makes it so much more fun.
Definitely. Deepak, how is the telemetry coming up? Do we have chance to
Doesn't
bring it
seem
up
to be
again?
popping up. I'm trying.
That's fine, that's fine. We do things the old school way. We figure out whether we do what real life commentators have to do, take a good hard look at the front wing of a car and figure out if they have damage. But there is no formation lap this year. As the 5 lights eliminate, the Red Bulls lock out the front row, and away we go. Kaushik has a good start, but I think Oxygen has covered him well. Will they form a wall into turn 1? It's extremely packed. Kaushik goes down the inside. Oxygen missing his braking point. Kaushik can go for the cutback, but it looks like a fairly clean turn 1. There is a bit of contact. I see a yellow flag pop up, but I'm not sure exactly what that's for.
I think Streeter got the short end of the stick through there. Got pushed out.
Yep. Can we have positions gained and lost up like and the telemetry and tires up for the first few laps? Thank you. So Kaushik has taken P1. He did get the cutback down on Oxygen, and Red Bulls still maintain the 1-2 status quo. But Akash is hunting Oxygen down. He can, I think, it's almost pushing him down the back straight. And I'm not sure if Oxygen's running higher downforce, but he definitely seems.
Oh, that
All
was an
goes bad.
ambitious late braking, which has sent him in the gravel.
Don't rejoin like Vettel. Don't rejoin like Vettel. Don't rejoin. Okay, we rejoin like Vettel.
I think he just waited on the edge.
And he goes
this
down
is
again.
going so bad for him.
That's the harsh reality of these soft tires. But look at Kaushik fly through Parabolica. He's using the full extent of the track on exit. But great camera work from Deepak, because we are on board with Ninja as he goes down the inside of Moto. Can he brake later? No, he brakes a little too late.
Oh. And he has lost all the positions he's gained from the start. Very unfortunate.
An unsafe rejoin as well. Gonna sit well with the coordinators or the stewards.
Meanwhile, Kapil has gone through the grid and he's now in PA.
I'm surprised actually. There's an interesting strategy decision by Kapil here, because he's opted to actually start on the soft compound tires, which a bit unusual starting from the back, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, normally the people on the back, they use harder compounds, and if it was a dry qualifying, then it would even come into a play. But here everybody had free set of tires to choose. So yeah, I think he's trying to make up as many positions as possible and then go about the tires. He's
another
anticipating
thing,
a safety car perhaps.
Yeah, that's what the safety car thing is, the biggest impact here, because due to the buggy nature of the safety cars in this one, the coordinators have decided to completely do away the safety car. So that element of strategy is out the window. Maybe because of that, he decided to take the softs. Maybe.
But yeah, as we see Kapil hounding down Fivezan, and Kapil versus Fivezan is a tale as old as time. Fivezan is deploying his overtake. There's no two ways about that. He's almost 2 wheels on the grass trying to keep the position from Kapil.
See another battle right behind.
Cover the inner line.
and the Mercedes, McLaren, Alpha Tauri, and Haas line to stern in terms of overtaking maneuvers. But yeah, RB doing well up in P6. He's showing that he was always a Tier 1 driver.
Yes,
Moto's got
Black Sheep
Black
and
Sheep's
Wilson
DNF.
have retired.
Oh, that's a huge
That's
incident.
a big,
and
big,
it
big
is
incident.
causing a lot of collisions. What happened there?
Not really sure, but that's a really big incident over there.
Can you go back to Del Roger? I think I saw a car go off of there. And that's Kapil, I think. Kapil's had an incident as well because he's down to P14.
Even
I think I
Akash
saw-
had DNF'd. Akash had also retired.
That's a lot of damage.
Yep.
I
we
think
see
Wilster G and Black Sheep had an incident, and then Akash just got caught in the
Collected,
mix. And Codemasters, in their grand old wisdom, they did not remove Black Sheep's car from the track. And yeah, that must have thrown a lot of drivers off. Hopefully, not too much damage happened.
Yep.
Still, at the best, we got a yellow flag, not even a VSC. That's very.
Safety
Well,
cars
it's
are
turned off.
disabled. Safety cars are disabled for this for the initial bit, and it's a new game. Drivers are ironing out the kinks in their driving style with the new performance updates, and Codemasters are ironing out the bugs with their setup as well. So Kapil has a lot of work to do because he can't depend on a safety car to bunch the back up so he can make those overtakes again. But Kapil might, knowing Kapil, he probably will strap on those hard compound tires and try and go the entire distance so that he doesn't have to take an extra pit stop. Can we go to the active tire compound, Deepak?
Sure.
By the way, oxygen has dropped down a lot. Did we see what happened there?
I did see Moto overtaking him, and I think everything sort of spiraled from there for him.
He has already pitted for soft, so perhaps he had some wing damage. But
Definitely.
in terms of the top gainers, Moto, Faizan, RB definitely up there. And Ninja, despite a spin at turn 1, he has brought it back to P5. And Harry Rocks, what we were looking forward to, is sitting pretty in P6. So yeah, definitely an interesting turn of events, but it has greatly benefited these guys.
And Kapil has gone on to the medium compound.
He's definitely going to be taking one more stop, Deepak, and that's going to be a bit interesting in terms of can he. And I think he's going for pure pace over here. He's going for the overtakes. He wants to actually have fun rather than just hang out with those hard compound tires for the best result. But he's got his work cut out for him. But we all know Kapil is more than capable of pulling out those
And
results from
Chicken
that
is
situation.
falling back. Wonder what happened. Oh, he's pitting. Okay.
Yeah. But with us, we actually have Black Sheep joining us in the commentary just to talk through what happened. Black Sheep, you were looking incredibly quick throughout practice, throughout warm-up sessions. You want to walk us through what happened at De La Roggia?
Yeah, hello. I arrived at De La Roggia and there were about 3 cars just parked. I think Moto, Oxygen, and Wilster. I have no idea what they were up to, but they were just literally just occupying the entirety of the track, just parked in there. And I just ran into the back of one of them slightly.
That's a shame. I think it was going to be a long race, and
I-
you were definitely looking racy. But we just saw your teammate Sid have a bit of a spin. What do you think about his chances in the points today?
I think he's got good pace. I think as we go through the season, I'll sort of get to know him a bit better and probably prep a little bit more for races with him. Didn't get a chance this time around, but hopefully. Oh, I'm seeing my replays now with that incident. Okay, Oxygen had a spin at the Roggia, and that made Moto and Wilster just park behind it.
Oh, okay. Well, so the racing gods weren't in your favor today. You are no Hamilton at the end of the day. They aren't always going to smile on you.
Well, that's
So-
one positive to take away.
I always know how to make you feel better. So, anyway, we are going to go back to the action, Black Sheep. But yeah, I think pick up your socks. I'm sure the next race will be far more exciting. But as we say that, Evil Doc is really got his elbows out. We've seen Evil Doc be an extremely respectful and sort of careful driver over the years, but I've sort of wanted to see him become a bit more ballsy, and that was definitely balls out on the tarmac for Evil Doc, not giving Streeter any room. And I think both of these drivers are old school. They know what racing is. So I'm excited to see a good battle between the two of them.
Well, Evil Doc is with the big boys now, so he's definitely gonna have to up his aggression to stay out there, or else he'll definitely get eaten up alive. Especially Streeter is a wisey old customer, so he'll definitely eat him up alive if he has a single lapse. So
Streeter is emulating Fernando Alonso's tactics this year. How, like, literally all over the back of Evil Doc. But let's see if Streeter's attack is as good as Alonso's defense. But jumping on board with RB's been the biggest gainer, I think, in the huge number of incidents. He's now up to P4, and he's not going anywhere. He is in fact closing in on Ninja Zero, or at least maintaining the gap to him. Because if he gets a whiff of DRS, it's going to be difficult for Ninja to actually pull out that 1 second gap again.
as we see the position change, Cuba Rabi has been the biggest gainer so far, gaining a chunk of positions, 10 positions from the start. It's a really good start from him.
Toto's happy.
One desk spared for today.
Yeah, well.
For now, at least. Hopefully.
Another note about Cuba Rabi is he's made a jump directly from Tier 3 to Tier 1, so definitely shows he's definitely showing the promise in that.
He's on the max route, skipping all the main categories, all the feeder categories, and going directly to Formula 1. So, well, he's one to watch out for, and he's not showing that was unwarranted at all. He's up in P7, he's fighting with the best. But as I say that, Streeter has a great exit. There's only a 10th between him and Evil Dog, and I think this battle is done. I'm not sure if Evil Dog can do anything to hold off that charging Alpine. That being said, Evil Dog seems to be hanging it down the inside. No, Streeter's through, and well before the braking zone, he makes the move. So great move by the Alpine, and now he sets off in pursuit of the man, the myth, the legend, Cuba Rabi, the guy who we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, so you have shown the max angle. I can talk about the Kimi angle, as he's been very fast in Dirt Rally as well. So he's showing that he just has fast pace regardless of the platform. In terms of the
great to see
front row,
that. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, in terms of the front row, Kaushik has created a massive gap between him and Moto. And Kaushik has had his reputation from the previous seasons of crashing out by this time. I don't want to lay on any Cassis curse, at least for the first time this season, but he's proving us wrong, at least in terms of first impressions.
Yeah, but and I think this game is definitely much more sensitive with setups, as it should be. And you could have a completely different car in the second stint to the car you have in the first stint, just because of the way it behaves on heavy fuel and the amount of turn-in you could get. So I'm not sure if that's a fact of setup, but just a quick point. Moto has now been overtaken by Ninja Zero, and now Ninja Zero is dropping back because we see him being spun out. So that's a bit of a shame, really, because Ninja was on a charge.
Yep, he was making the soft work in his favor, but that move didn't really go well.
I see a report coming, Deepak.
Yep. Report indeed. We see some penalties coming in already, not even halfway through the race.
Well, Monza typically has been a place where track limits are a bit of an issue, especially because I think the high-speed nature of corners like Ascari and the unforgiving nature of the track limits just sort of go hand in hand to not having the best outcome all the time. But honestly, Faizan is looking great right now. His car honestly looks on rails through Ascari. He's putting the car in all the right places, but I think he needs to put a bit more pace onto the circuit right now.
Yep, he definitely has to. He is in a very strong position running right now. He just needs to keep it clean and just do what he's doing right now. Just a little bit more. That's it.
Let's not forget, this is the comeback to Tier 1 for Faizan, who's been out of Tier 1 for the last few seasons. This is the redemption drive, and I think, as things stand, he's answering all his doubters, all his haters, and he's doing incredibly well.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's always good to see a driver redeeming himself. That makes a really good story anyway. But yes, he's still got the job to do. He's still got more than half the race ahead of him. He just needs to keep his head down and gets a good result and just prove all his haters wrong.
At the moment, the grid seems to be more or less spaced out, except Evil Dog and Streeter, who are still within the DRS range. But at this point, what do you think, strategy-wise, when would be the best time to consider switching tires? So, for context, most of the grid in the top 10 were on mediums, with a few exceptions of softs. But given the incidents, we've had a couple of drivers on hards now. So how do you think the tire strategy will play out? Because I don't foresee any weather conditions changing.
Can we? Yeah. I think if you look at it, and that's just my 2 cents. I'm not sure the hard drivers will gain too many positions because the drivers ahead of them on the softs and medium tires are really pulling away. And we are now entering. We will now enter the pit window for. Oh wait, a lot of drivers are on mediums, but around lap 11 to lap 17, we will see a lot of drivers pitting, and I think it all depends on what their pace is after coming up, because we know that the hard tires are useless at keeping people behind. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the likes of Akash and Harry.
I think Harry could have gone on to the mediums, I guess. I'm not sure what tire he was running earlier, but he has chosen to go on to the hards.
Probably was running the mediums earlier if he made that choice.
Perhaps he's planning to go long, but I think he didn't believe that mediums could take him there for the next 16 laps. Still an interesting choice. As you can see, the other hard tire runner, Akash with an extra A, he had an incident earlier on, so I think he just didn't want to pit again. Still an interesting choice for this track, but given we've been just updated that we don't have safety cars for the first few races, that may still play out because there would be very few opportunities to get a cheap pit stop.
Ninja is changing. The first soft runner is going on to his medium tires, and yeah, he just needs to keep his head down and do the job. That's all he can hope. Evil Dog, meanwhile, still keeping up with Streeter. He's doing a good job of that, and they are close to Kibarabi as well.
They both have sort of closed down on Kibarabi, who will be looking at keeping the both of them behind. Can we keep the tire compound active? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they both on medium tires. They're on equal sort of tire wear. And I think the three of them are going to have a straight up bout all the way to the end. But I'm not sure. But I have to say, Street and Evil Dog have worked together to close the gap to Abi. So I'm not sure if he'll be able to keep them behind for too long.
Yep, it will be interesting to see how Kibarabi will handle the defense of this. Will he fight hard and risk losing the time, or will he be like, okay, go ahead, I'll get you on the pits? But yes, it will be very interesting to see how he handles the situation in front of him.
Meanwhile, I just want to give you a quick update. Kaushik has completely checked out and pulled away at the front. He is now 7.5 seconds in the lead. He's gaining at a speed where he may just take an extra pit stop for the fastest lap at the end of the race. Who knows? But he's doing very well. No signs of being shaky. I hope touch wood, I don't jinx him. But yeah, these three seem to be the battle to watch right now.
Yes, and we saw Kibarabi trying his level best to break the toe with Streeter, moving left and right within the acceptable parameters. Of course, not a very wild view, but still just enough to break the toe. He's already doing what he can to slow Streeter down.
He's using Alonso's tactics against Streeter.
Yes.
I hope you realize this is exactly what Alonso did in Silverstone.
Yep.
And got a black and white flag for.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, Streeter's not going to like that, but he can't say anything against that.
Yes.
This is very, very intelligent racing by Abi. So, Yeah, I just want to say that like the gap between Moto and RB is keeps on fluctuating. I think it keeps swinging in each other's favor. I saw RB dip down to within a second, and then Moto increase it to 1.3 now, and it's fluctuating so much. And I think those drivers are basically trading blows lap on lap. But that being said, I think Streeter is close enough. He's within 4.5 tenths going through the start finish straight. Can he get the move done into turn 1? He may not be close enough. He's gaining, but the braking zone reaches him all too quickly. And you can see that you have to bring the cars down from over 205 or 206 miles an hour. And it's not easy, especially in dirty air. And Streeter's been doing that in dirty air for so long. But he catches Abhi by surprise, goes down the inside at De La Roggia. I don't think there's anything Abhi can do to fight this, and he has to concede the position. So great racing by Streeter, and that shows the maturity. And I say that as Evil Dog says, "Yep, thank you very much. I'll follow you through." And goodbye.
Yep, it all went.
Pretty big held
It all
back,
went
as you
in the two
saw.
corners.
As you saw how close they were in turn 1, it was clear that Cuba was not the fastest driver there. So yeah, somehow it went clean, but Evil Dog took the opportunity to make the move as well.
Yep.
As we see Ninja and Sid fighting it out, but I think it was fairly easy for Ninja on this occasion.
Yep, I think
Was
Ninja has
tire
pitted onto
advantage as
fresh.
well. Yes,
Yep.
it was a tire advantage.
Ninja has pitted onto fresh medium, so this could potentially be looking at overcoming the gap that Moto and RB pulled out because of that small incident. So the undercut may actually help him here. But I think lap 16 in the last season was the pit window for the medium runners, and we might just see that as a pit window here as well. So let's wait to see what happens in the next few laps. But can we go on board with RB, please? Just want to see how much he's moved. We have a yellow flag in sector 2 at the De La Roggia. Who is it?
Paisan.
Ah, we did jinx him. The guy was having a brilliant race, and yeah, things haven't gone to plan. But he's not in a bad position. He's still doing fairly well, and we know he's been making overtakes left, right, and center. So who knows? He may be on the comeback soon.
Yeah, he can try an undercut at this point, and it will probably mean a 2-stopper for him, but he can still make it work.
No, I think he can still go on the 1-stop if he pits now onto the soft compound tires. I think he can make it to the end.
Oh yeah, 11 laps. Yeah, definitely. And we are seeing the front of the grid starting to pit, at least with RB. The other drivers have stuck to the plan for 16 laps.
Yeah, and this is actually going to force Moto to make the pit stop the very next lap, because now it's hammer time for him, because he needs to make sure that, and the gap between Moto and RB was relatively small. I think it was 1.3 seconds or so, and that's definitely not safe to undercut for Moto. So let's see what he can pull out on his in lap. Can we go on board and see whether he makes any mistakes? You can see him burning through his ERS. He needs a good lap. He needs to put his car in front of that McLaren, because RB, from my experience, RB is extremely adept at holding people off, as he did the entire season last year.
There would be one thing that may play into Moto's favor. RB had a 5-second time penalty which he served at pits now,
Okay.
while Moto has a 3-second penalty which he doesn't have to serve now. So he may still have that 5-second advantage, but let's see how he goes out the pits and how much he can cover.
If he did serve that penalty, Thermo, then I don't think there is a chance of Moto being undercut by him. So yeah,
Let's
it
have
all
a look
depends on
when
how
he's
close.
coming out.
It all depends on how close RB comes out and whether the traffic pulls up RB in any way. But I think RB is in a great position. He's found a really good he's found a really good gap because all the drivers in front of him are pitting now. But yeah, that's a sizable gap, to be honest. That's I think it's about 5.5 seconds. So Moto actually gained time on his in lap there. Kudos to him. Yep. But now all the trailing drivers have pitted. Kaushik can basically now pit and come out into the net lead. But if I were him, I would just give it a couple of more laps till Cubabi and Evil Dog pit. And can we go on to Evil Dog, please? I think he's very, very close to the back of Ambi. And as we see that Kaushik does come into the pits, he doesn't want to fight any longer. Let's see. Do you think Evil Dog is going to box opposite to Abhi, or do you think he will pit, or do you think he's going to do whatever he does?
He is going
He
into the
does
pits.
box opposite. He does box opposite pits. I think he knew he had the overtake, but because he was so close to the slipstream of Abhi, he gets a 5-second pit lane, speeding in the pit lane penalty, which is really going to hurt his chances in his battle with Streeter.
That definitely was a very late decision to pit stop. As you could see from that, like, he couldn't really stop his car in time. And yes, 5 seconds added on to his race time. Not something that you would actually want.
Yeah, the pressure definitely got to him there. I think Cubabi is also trying to push for pits because he's basically chugging through the ERS that he has.
Yes,
But
he is burning through his
It will be
ERS.
interesting to see where going long did it help him in the end. Because at the moment he will drop down a lot of positions and he'll be smack in the middle of the grid.
It will be a traffic situation, but okay, it's all soft-road as well. Yeah, it's going to be a sprint to the end if that's the case. I thought maybe there might be some tire advantage coming into play, but yes, he's going to be along with the level-headed runner. So it's back to ground zero then for Cubabi.
Yep. Can we go on board with Kapil for a sec? He's within DRS of Sid, but I think Sid may have just overtaken him, if I'm not wrong.
Actually, Kapil was trailing Sid for quite some time, trying to make a move on him.
Yeah, because he's within DRS of Sid, and Sid can essentially pull him through. Because I think Kapil can make it to the end. It'll be difficult, but he can do it. And if he's able to stay close, some of the other drivers in front do have time penalties, and Sid is on that fresh rubber, that fresh soft rubber. So potentially staying behind Sid may actually be the wiser decision than overtaking him at this point.
I mean, he can at least go a few laps, like others have done, up to 70 laps even with mediums, but I still think he cannot go long with the same set of tires till the end of the race. Even for me, I personally, I wouldn't do that. But if it's anyone who can pull it off, probably Kapil would be up there.
Absolutely, that's where experience does play. But we are on board with Moto as he... we are on board with Montero as he chases 5zan down. And Montero does have a slight tire advantage, but I don't think the advantage will really come into play right now. We probably may see the advantage in the last few laps at a point where 5zan's tires are dropping off a cliff, because we do know that these soft tires have a cliff, after which they just become pretty much redundant. But down the inside already goes Moto. He's looking at overtaking him, and the grip through Parabolica that he had on the soft tires, and that is Ninja on the grass.
That's very aggressive
He's
from Moto.
basically getting handled by Moto. Not the best.
That is going to the stewards for sure. I think that's the second incident by Moto on Ninja. I'm not sure what Ninja did, woke up in the morning and said to Moto, because I think that's the second time the two have collided.
That was super aggressive. Moto just put a squeeze too much that basically Ninja had to dip his wheels onto the grass and come out.
There wasn't even space for Ninja on the track
Yep.
at that point. That was honestly a bad decision by Moto. So, but yeah, I mean, drivers make mistakes. We see a spinning Akash. I guess we know who's taken Vettel's car in the Aston Martin garage.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm a huge Vettel fan. I just couldn't resist that joke.
Well, everyone knows.
Definitely the 70 lap old hards, even though they should have more life in them, doesn't seem to be working well for him.
Absolutely. While we say that, overtake we did miss is Montero has gone through 5-Zan already, and can begin probably hunting down. And Montero is a driver who's made tremendous gains. I remember doing a bit of unranked with him last season. He was just honestly learning, and he's reached a point where he's now in the points in a tier 1 race, and that's a rags to riches kind of story almost, isn't it?
It always is nice to see drivers who make their way up. It's always just good to see drivers improving and like challenging for points regularly. It's always a good occurrence. I mean, that really speaks volumes about the strength of this community.
Absolutely. There's a lot of help going around for anyone who wants to learn how to drive. If anyone can teach me, I'd be very, very grateful, because I'm pretty sure I'd be quite rubbish at this game. Haven't even started racing on it yet. But as we say that, Kapil has a look down the inside, puts Sid off a little bit, but he's not able to capitalize on the exit because Sid just has so much more grip on those fresh, soft tires. I don't think Kapil will have the pace deficit or pace delta to actually overtake Sid on these used mediums.
Props
But
to
Sid
Kapil to
seems
still
to
make it
be-
very competitive.
He's
Sid had to
competitive,
really
yeah.
work hard, weave through the backstreet, try to fend off Kapil. It's very
It seems
interesting.
like
to see.
Sid had a very bad exit or something. Like even with the fresh soft, he was not able to like get ahead of him. Also, his ERS score is also pretty low, so yes, I think that explains.
I mean, Kapil did put him off into turn 1. I guess Kapil was trying to go for the exit, but even with that, he wasn't able to get it. But look at Kapil's lines through Ascari. He's gaining so much time, and he's actually through Ascari. He's lap after lap putting his car in a position to overtake down the start finish straight. But then again, Sid has a great exit through Parabolica, and Kapil's not able to catch him. It seems like a song on repeat, if I may.
I don't want to use that words.
Look at this.
That's fine. Great driving by Sid. Kapil knows Sid has it on the braking. So he's just gonna sit here, see what happens. But I just want to call out that we didn't cover this, but Ninja did pit right now. I guess he picked up damage from the incident with Moto, and I'm pretty sure the stewards will take a good hard look at that incident after the race.
This does open up opportunity for Kapil to still take the pit eventually. Maybe set the fastest lap that he normally does.
Right.
And
Let's move on.
maybe make up back a couple positions.
Absolutely. Kapil is definitely one to watch out for. But there is a rookie battle which has sort of escalated, and Montero has cut through 5-Zan and has caught up to the rear of the Mercedes of Cuba Abi, which is basically a Russell versus Hamilton battle. Let's see if Russell can come out in front. Let's hype this up as much as possible and be UK media, which makes a mountain out of a molehill. I'm just messing around now, talking shit. Waiting for Montero to make the move. Let's see whether that happens soon or not.
Uber is still working with at least 3 seconds that Montero has to serve at the end. But I don't think he's really defending that aggressively just yet.
ERS status, both of them are neck and neck. Almost both of them are lower. ERS and tires. Speaking of it, Kubarabi has a slight advantage, like just 1 lap pressure, but still it's not much to separate. It's all on the line.
Yep, let's leave. I think we are approaching the final 4 laps. We have a few people, almost 50 people watching our stream live. So let's open it up for predictions. I think it's that time of the day. So let's open it up for predictions to see who and what are your predictions of, I think P1 is pretty much confirmed. What are your predictions of the final 3 points positions? Because those seem to be slightly closer. With 5-Zan on fairly locking down P8, but Kapil can chase him down, and has just got past Sid Kulkarni. Can Sid get back at him? So let's put in our predictions now and see what happens.
I think Kapil keeps the position. He's been a mad lad this whole race, and I think he had a lot of ERS to
You say
spare.
that, and Sid is 3/10 away from him, going through the start-finish straight, which means I'm not sure Couple will be able to hold him. That's a very late move. That's a very late move from Couple, but Sid does manage to keep it clean. Down the inside, Couple says no bullshit racing.
Yep, this is exactly why.
No bullshit racing, absolutely no bullshit. I
Sid,
think Couple have
meanwhile,
exhausted.
still hangs out, uses his soft tires to his advantage, almost puts a wheel on the grass, but still gets ahead. The couple is still there, hanging right behind, but yes, he's gonna have to sit this one out and regroup and attack later.
Yeah.
I think the biggest gainer of this battle is Chicken, because he can get P9 from the looks of things if he plays his cards right.
And we've got another battle brewing up ahead. P5, P6 and P7.
So far, what are your opinions on today's race? Did you expect anything less, or I think the boys have delivered what we were expecting. The wildcards have definitely shown their potential here.
Well, I'll tell you why I had fun at the start of the race. If you asked me to pick a top 3, it would never have been these 3 drivers at the top right now. And honestly, that's honestly awesome. We see side to side action. I'm going to go off board, but there's 2 wheels on the grass for Streeter. Or is that Montero? Sorry.
That was Chicken, Sid Kulkarni and there were 4 cars involved in that.
There were 4 cars involved. Chicken has had to take the cut, the runoff area, and yeah.
So what I
have
said,
no idea
Ninja
what happened.
actually went and pit, and he also, like Chicken, tried to take the advantage of the situation. However, he was the biggest gainer in the end, while Kapil got the short end of the stick in this.
Can we just appreciate Ninja's pace at this point? He has gained, I think it was 4 seconds, overtaken 3 people in a matter of laps. The man is flying. His training is actually paying off.
It has been a roller coaster ride for Ninja. He has been up there in top 3, then got an ordered incident, fell back, again took a pit stop, fell back even more, but still he's rising up, coming back, and we see another battle going up here. Chicken going inside of Sid. Sid still on the outside, he's still there.
It's nice and clean, respectful racing between the 2. But who got DRS over there? I think Chicken did get DRS, if I'm not wrong. Oh no, Sid got the DRS, and he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back at Chicken almost immediately. Chicken with a bit of a late move, a bit of movement on the road, but he has the pace into the braking zone. But he does go deep, and Sid hits the back of him. He had the cutback, but Chicken does manage to hold on to the position purely through driver error. But we've got 2 more laps of racing.
Oh, there's another battle up front which is also quite interesting. Kuberabe is that much close to Streeter. He was almost close to getting him in the previous lap, but just had to back off a little bit. This is very much interesting. This is coming to a very good close.
Now folks, let's also keep in mind that Streeter does have a penalty and Kuberabe does not. An intelligent thing to do would be to just sit back behind Streeter and get catapulted above him after the race, essentially, with the race results and final classification. But we know these drivers. We know every single driver prefers to do the action on track. And Kuberabe looks like he is setting it up. He is not letting Streeter go that easily.
I think he's eyeing for P4, which is why he's trying to stay within 5 seconds of even top. And I think he has managed to do that. It's just 1 more lap now, and Kaushik finally got a penalty, but I don't think it will matter. It's too late. And we see Montero.
We were looking in front of Kuberabe, but not behind him. Montero is extremely opportunistic, while Kuberabe is on the outside over here, which means Montero will have a better run. But Kuberabe will have the inside. He should back off because he's the only one without a penalty over here. And honestly, there's no reason. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. I think it's Chicken. Aston Martin. I think an Aston Martin had a collision with an Alpine over there. But whatever happened. But let's go on board with Kaushik Tamala, going through the final lap, complete domination. He crosses the line to win the inaugural race of Season 7, the first race of the season, putting Red Bull and himself firmly in command of the championship battle. And that, my friends, is a statement if I've ever seen one. Finishing the first race of the season, net 12 seconds in front of Moto, followed by RB. His debut race in Tier 1 is a podium. The man has really proven his promotion, and he's also laid down the gauntlet. And finally, the people who delivered us the most exciting race that we could have asked for, Evil Dog, Streeter, Kuberabi, Montero, going wheel to wheel for almost 27 laps. I finally crossed the line. There's Oxygen and Couple wheel to wheel across the line. Couple just about holds him off, but that was almost negligible in terms of gap between the two drivers.
Couple on 21 lap olds, mediums too at that.
Honestly, the man deserves a point. Couple did really, really well. I think, I'm not sure if he's my driver of the day, but he's definitely shown his mettle, his character, and his racecraft today. And I think that's it's always a joy to see that in any driver. Moto driver of the day on track. I'm pretty sure Ninja will not agree, but there are claims that Moto was desync, so I don't want to put the blame on him just yet. Let the decision go to the stewards. On our screen, undoubtedly his fault, but was that what happened on his screen? And that's what the stewards will decide once all the evidence comes to us. But let's go through the race and just go through the highlights at a very go through the highlights. We had a Red Bull looking strong for a 1-2, but Kaushik does deliver as the sole Red Bull on the podium, followed by Moto, followed by RB, followed by Evil Dog. Great Tier 1 debut. I think for me, Evil Dog, RB is my driver of the day, followed by possibly Cuba Abi. Then we have Streeter in P5, Montero in P7, Fivezan in P8, Ninja P9. Great recovery drive from Ninja. The man made so many overtakes on those fresh soft tires. We have Sid, and it's all messed up. It's shuffling. Okay. Couple P11, Oxygen P12, Akash P13, KG P14. Cylinders got disqualified in quali, gained 5 positions through a few DNFs and a few overtakes. So commendable drive. Chicken and Harry bring up the rear. Harry definitely has more room to grow, but it's only the first race. Very, very long season, early days. That was exciting, guys. What do you think? I mean, my voice is gone.
Yep. First things first, I'm happy the lobby didn't glitch out. And secondly, there was no turn on pileups. And of course, a brilliant racing action all throughout the grid. So yes, I think we've got the perfect ingredients for a good race.
Absolutely.
Now it's time to bring out the winners from today's race and just know more about how their races went. So we are waiting for just one more driver before we start. Yeah.
I'm not able to find him. Either of you able to get in touch? Let me just get him in. But until then, let's take a breather. Let's have a sip of water. Let's recap the race. And before we go into the interviews, Thermo Deepak, what's your magic moment from the race? What's your favorite moment from the last 27 laps of action? Let's start with you, Deepak. Let's put you on the spot.
It was very hard to pick. That much I could say, because even while streaming, it was very hard to pick out which action to follow. There's a lot going on in track. But the battle between Kuberabi and Streeter was definitely something that was very interesting, as was the battle between Moto and Ninja as well. Those were my moments of the race, I would say.
For me, the battle towards the end, in the battle for the points between Kapil and I think it was Faizan, as well as...
No, it was Couple and Oxygen, I think, but I'm not even sure if it was the points.
Couple versus Oxygen was towards the end, but before that, before when we had a bunch of positions change, that was very exciting for me, even though things weren't the cleanest. But 4-way battle, always interesting to see.
Yep. For me, it was Ninja blasting through a set of, I think, 3 drivers in a matter of corners. Not a huge Mercedes fan, but at the same time, you have to commend Ninja. I think deserve the moment of the day for me. But that being said, let me start with and I think we have finally our race winner in VC, and we're ready to start with the post-race interviews. So let's, guys, that was incredible. Kaushik, you probably didn't think the same. Probably had a very boring race up front. You, I think, 9 seconds up the road when you pitted for your first stint. Walk us through your race. What was your battle against? What were you thinking? Because you definitely weren't worrying about other drivers, were you?
First of all, welcome to everyone, and thanks for that. Everything went to plan. Actually, I'm really sorry for Oxygen because we were practicing it quite a bit to make it a 1-2, and it was looking like that until lap 2, and unfortunately, Oxygen had damage. But anyways, I'm really sorry for him. But everything went to plan, but it was not an easy race, to be honest, because every lap I was tense, losing the car or something like that happening. But still, I did quite a bit of practice. I think that helped a lot. Also GG's to the Podium guys as well.
Congratulations to you as well. Just a quick follow up, and I know that like your race was uneventful, but we all know that I think the quiet performances are sometimes the best when you're just pulling away at the front by almost a pit stop. Which was a really, really good effort. But what do you think? Do you think this is a statement from you and the Red Bull team to your championship, both drivers as well as constructors, for the rest of the season? Where do you think you guys are placed for the next?
I think both of us are
races?
right at the top. I believe that, and that's why I put in so much practice for this race, because I want the first race to be quite a good one, so we can set a pretense for the rest of the season or something like that. And everything went to plan. And coming to the stints itself, the first stint itself, I was just managing, like I was like in a hibernation mode, pretty much managing the tires every single lap, not pushing at all. I was just looking at the gaps, every single corner where motor is making mistakes or not. And I see that every lap I'm just pulling away 10th or 2. So I had confidence in my pitch because I had so much more left to push as well. And still I was pulling, so I was confident of that. And even when I put on the song, I had so much more pace left to cover him off. So I was confident on both the stints.
Well, you're not just driving like a champion; you're thinking like one too, and I hope that carries on for the rest of the season. So congratulations on the win. Going to move into our P2 finisher, Moto. Name so nice, you say it twice. Moto, up and down drive for you today. I think there were a couple of moments where there was contact on our screens, but I think there were a few comments about desync in the chat. Walk us through your race. There was a moment where you squeezed Ninja quite a bit into turn 1. Was he there on your screen? What happened?
Okay, I'm honestly extremely confused after that, because first off, in my game, Kaushik was behind me after lap 1. He was squeezed by, I think, Wilster or someone. I'm not sure. And second, Ninja was a lap car for me, so I have no clue if I had a battle with him. I mean, according to you guys, you're saying that I had a battle, but I don't know, man. Like, I think on my screen, like, I crossed the line first, and I was having a battle with RB in terms of lap times, but I have no clue what happened there.
I think in that case, RB may have been the only car which was probably in its correct place for you, because the battle between both of you was, to quote Kung Fu Panda, your battle was legendary. But honestly speaking, there was honestly nothing to separate both you and RB throughout the race. There were incidents. I would suggest you go back to the stream to see what actually happened. It's an interesting watch.
Yeah, I would like to apologize to Oxygen. I completely missed my braking there because, I mean, I think he broke a bit too early, but I'll have a look at it. I don't know. I'm not sure what went on there, but I apologize for that.
It's racing. You're no longer a racing driver if you don't go for a gap that isn't there.
Well, there wasn't a gap. I just went
every driver who has said that has had an incident as well. So don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us, and I'm sure you'll come back very, very strong. So just moving on to RB Ferrello, and congratulations, Moto. It's a P2 finish. It doesn't matter what happened along the way. You got here. So congratulations.
Yeah.
RB, debut Tier 1 race. I was honestly not questioning. I knew you were a quick driver, I just didn't know you were this quick. So, walk us through your race. I know you had a constant battle with Moto for 27 laps. You were constantly within a second of him, or within a second and a half of him. How much did the 5 seconds you served in your pit stop affect the final result?
Uh, at the start, I think my start was very good, and I think by the end of lap one, I was P7 or P8, and then it was just to keep my nose clean. And I had an unfortunate 5 second penalty. Maybe I will get that removed, but let's see. I was trying to undercut Moto, but then the 5 seconds just ruined my race. But then P3 is still not bad.
It's a great debut. Don't forget, this is your Tier 1 debut, and I think the man you fought with the entire Tier 2 season did incredibly well as well. I think he finished in P4, Evil Dog.
Yes, yes.
So Tier 2 from last season have really stepped up. You guys are officially and well warranted Tier 1 drivers who've laid down a gauntlet, and I'm happy to see that. What was your target through the race? Because you started quite far back. Did you think you'd be fighting through the grid? When did you realize you could fight for a podium?
After lap one itself, I thought like I had a chance because I saw people fighting with each other, and then I was just hoping for a little bit of luck, or maybe my undercut was planned. I was going to pit like after lap 14 itself, but then when I was P3, I thought why not extend one more lap and then take Moto, but then the 5 seconds just ruined my race. That I'm feeling sad about it, but at the same time, P3 is good.
It's honestly amazing. So I'm gonna probably stop here. I want to open the commentary to my fellow commentators who've sat with me for the tolerated me for the last 1 hour. Thermo, Deepak, any questions from you to the drivers?
I mean, I
Thermo,
personally
why
I'm
think
not
you had.
surprised how the race ended. Like the names on top, there were. I think I was expecting them to have a strong finish. I am glad that Kaushik has broken the um, spell of unfortunate events he faced at least last season or two. So really glad to see him continue his pace throughout the whole race. And I think I'd like to ask the drivers about the scuffed online experience right now, and how much that seems to affect your racing experience for now.
Let's start with Kaushik.
Sorry, what was that?
The online experience right now, we have a lot of desync.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Personally, in this game, I've never experienced that many, but I can see like a lot of people having issues and all that. I understand that a lot of the top guys have left as well because the game just is just trash at the moment because of the multiplayer experience. But when it's right, it's worth like all the hours you put in, all the practice you put in, and when you have league races that are like at the top, it's definitely worth it. So that's why I still just stay behind and still try to race pretty much every race I can.
Well, and my 2 cents there. The only driver among us who was actually affected by it was Moto. Moto, what are your thoughts on what can be done to possibly improve that experience? Because if not for that desync, I doubt you would have had 2 out of your 3 incidents.
Well, at least I'd have an idea as to what's going on in the race, first and foremost. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can assure you the game is pretty bugged right now, and I think the best course is to wait it out a bit, in my opinion. But you guys already have a schedule planned, so I agree where you're coming from. So
At the
I
end
mean,
of the day, this is a new game. I think it came out probably 3 months ago, and Codemasters development is slow, so we can't keep the fans waiting forever. We did wait a significant amount of time to start the season, longer than we've waited in the past. So all I can say is, I think it's fine. It's part of the process of ironing out certain issues. Hopefully drivers will not be affected too much in the meanwhile, and we'll do the best on our part to manage lobby settings as much as possible to make sure that drivers aren't affected. But that being said, it's been an incredible last 1 hour, and I thank the three of you and every other driver on the grid for giving us an incredible opening race to season 7. We still don't, thanks to the nature of Monza and drivers stuck in DRS trains, we're still we're not completely aware of the nature and the speed and the potential of every single driver on the grid, but we are getting there, and I am really excited. If this continues for the next 15 odd races, I really can't wait to see who comes out on top, because this has the makings of being the closest season of IRC racing ever. But with that, I'd like to close up the stream and thank you both, Deepak, for streaming, and Thermo. You've been great teammates today. But with that, thank you, folks. See you next weekend. And yeah, take care.